Yeah, exactly that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are about ready. Map number 2 is Cloud9's pick, and it's Vertigo. Up next on the chopping block, how will Big fare as they start on the CT side, and Cloud9 already fast up ramp.
So the pistol round kicks off as the T side of Cloud9 start to take space away from Big. Tabson in the back with the USP. Sees the info as the utility is thrown over and backs off, creating a bit of breathing room for them. Has a flashbang pulled as well. Dashes the Molotov in to attempt to deny the plant, but it's too little too late as the bomb has already gone down, and Buster instantly finds success with a gap as he hits the headshot onto Keto.
And now what's the call as well? You're looking at Big in this retake. They've got a kit to work with for Crimbo. They've got one flash and one smoke, but time is starting to tick, and the numbers favoring that of C9 on the post plant. Everything should fall in their favor. Buster's low, but up close and personal. Axel will fall, and they might even start to attempt the bomb.
Time ticking away. Tabson tapping his way through them. Hyped as well. Hits the headshot, and this is all coming up big. They're on the bomb. Crimbo had the stick, and he will get that one. Hits it like he's Grookey as he gets away with a huge opening pistol round, and that's the sort of confidence you need. Reinvigorate the team. Show instantly what you can do in what almost felt like an unwinnable retake.
Yeah, and the big thing we're now looking at is the experienced heads over towards Big. That of Tabson, that have got B to really rally the troops. Tilt playing in a little bit over towards Axel as well, but Big starting this map loud. If on paper stats done in favor of them, the odds are kind of slightly skewed in favor of Cloud9. If in the server, even then, C9 are a slightly better side on this map. They've got to use momentum in their favor. We've already spoken about the slow starts of C9 coming back to bite them. And Crimbo will start off round number 2 pretty well, but Axel answers right back.
Oh, this is just a bloodbath for control of ramp. Tabson with a final spray leaves it in slight dismay for Cloud9. You're down to a 3-player setup here for the T side with just Nafany on 27 HP. Only utility you've got is a mixed bag. Single smoke, a flashbang, Molotov, with a decoy as well picked up for Nafany. And Big, after that opening engagement, you can fall back, play the safer angles. They go for the boost up and just want to look for the trades.
Minute to work with, and for C9 as well. Numbers don't favor them. Nafany taking quite the chunk of damage. Even getting to a bomb plant here is going to be pretty tough, but it looks like Big are going to respect them. They're going to give them space to work with. A double stack coming through over towards CT, and Tabson waiting in the smoke, spamming on the angle as well, but the control is in the favor of C9, and now the onus on Big on the retake.
They've got a single kit as well. That's in the back pocket of Crimbo, but it's Tabson that comes down like a ton of bricks, hits them straight in the face as Buster is removed from the equation. And this is not going to be an easy retake still, though. Look at the off angle. Hobbit in a very cheeky position, and he wants to laugh his way to the bank and secure this round. Flash comes over as well, peeks off the contact. Tabson again swings, turns on a dime, and finds that one. They've got to jump on a bomb now. Crimbo will make his move as Nafany backs off and gives this one up.
So, Nafany keeping over a Khalil, but I think a bomb plant 2 kills is not actually all too bad for C9. They're just at least keeping Big in their sort of control, right? Within an arm's reach. That's the main thing coming through. Started pretty well, I think. Axel making a decent little fortune of himself. A nice little spray with the Khalil. Always pretty difficult at range as well to keep that one in check. But right now, we look towards C9. How can they turn things back in their favor? Always going to be pretty difficult. And of course, over towards that C9 side, that one save Khalil is essentially all that they've got to work with. A Khalil and a few pistols, Jackie.
All the best going into the 3rd round. But still, at times, Cloud9, they can hit with the strength of Hercules on these pistol buys. That's up to Big to give them that opportunity. They've got to play into that trap card. Hyped, looking for the first as Tabson will again come alive in the initial engagement.
There's that opener, and the Khalil not yet scooped up. And it might be a case for Cloud9. For them, it's just not worth the risk. Favin in towards mid. Buster seek his way past. Damage dealt both ways, but Buster comes out the worst. And in doing so, Cloud9, a decision for them to be made. Where do they end? They're looking towards B. And the bomb is sort of in that direction, but there's not really too much of a grouping happening just yet.
50 seconds on the clock.
Good smoke.
Yeah, smoke up towards the top of stairs. Wards them off for an extra few seconds. And Quito, this is a powerful position for him at the back of B. He can be a real nuisance maker here. Meanwhile, Hobbit on the recovery finds the Galil. The single tap through the smoke will wake up Hyped as he realizes someone's waiting on the other side. And this plants a bit of seed of doubt in your mind. They go for the boost as well. Shiro on the top. Can't actually find a head, and they're starting to roam on in. Quito plays it finally as he'll peek out and break Buster's momentum now. He wants to go in as well. Just walking closer into the gates of hell, sprays out the first few shots, and this is looking really rough for C9. Few seconds left on the round as finally the pistols come alive, but it is too little, too late as Crimbo's there for two.
I've got to say, Hyped actually gets quite fortunate in that round. Buster picks up the Galil and he accidentally shoots, but he tags him in the leg. And I just don't think he'd realize what he'd actually done. If he would have spammed through the smoke, finds Hyped, the space opens over towards ramp, and then C9 maybe could have made an attack there. Either way, the main thing is Big taking yet another round, starting to at least build a little bit of fortune early doors. Like, just keep things in their check. But Cloud9, of course, will have a full buy into round number 4. All been played for Shiro, and now's where things get very scary. If Shiro starts to find form and do what he does best, that's when Big can start to really get under the cosh.
Oh, this is rough for Nafany. Talking about how aggressive and how much success he can usually find in the opening fights towards ramp. But Tabson is on a whole nother level. He's 7-0 right now. He is stepping up and going gargantuan for Big. Knows that he needs to be a difference maker. Really command respect on the server and lead by example. Cloud9, they're trailing in the round. About a minute left on the clock as they shuffle back towards the B site, and Buster takes the bomb with him.
At one point yesterday as well, Nafany, with I think it was about 25 rounds played, had 16 opening duels attempted, 8 won, 8 lost. Just shows his dedication to the role. But Tabson, I think he's understood this. He knows what Nafany's going to try and do on this map, and he's taking the fight to him. I like this. You know, you've got to lead from the front. Tab's going through in towards back default, and he needs to be careful. Quito will just get away in time as the nade rains down. Good timing, good call from him, and he'll drop a Molotov of his own just to keep C9 at bay, because that clock is starting to tick.
It'll be a late execute once again. But the executioner has to be Axar. He's got the hood on, but can he slay with the blade? Peeks up on top of the elevated position. Takes down Quito. Bomb being planted now. And Shiro assists as well. The scoped assassin really is dealing damage, but Favin's fast and he's aggressive. Buster stops it there. Shuts the door in his face and leaves it in a 2 versus 2. You've got the scope watching the cross. Aggression from Buster goes cleared by Crimbo. He's had a hell of a game already. He's gone for the push up. Oh, there's the face from Crimbo. 3rd frag in the round for him, and a 4th secured for Big in the clutch.
Another huge one from Crimbo. I mean, this guy, we've already spoken. I think Hawker brought up a great stat earlier, but when you look at a lot of the clutch percentages and a lot of the clutch stats that are available, you know, in HLTV or whatnot, Crimbo tops them. In terms of tier 1 play right now, he is leading the way in terms of a lot of these clutch statistics, and you can see why. That's another monstrous round from him. But one of the things that Crimbo does so well is the positioning of how he takes fights. It's all well and good having the mechanical prowess, but if your positioning's poor, you're going to be traded. Crimbo allows himself to isolate a lot of these fights just on the back of what he's using around him. It's really smart Counter-Strike being played by such a young guy. What a genius pickup by Big. And now, at 4-0, Cloud9 are going to call for their first time out. They're feeling a bit of this pressure. And we're starting to see a couple of the individuals really still yet to have too much impact. Hobbit, who was one of the big hitters for C9 in the first map, only on 1 kill so far.
Yeah, Hobbit was ridiculous in opening duels on Anubis, winning a vast majority of them. So for him to go quiet here on Vertigo so far on the first half is a little bit of a worrying sign, but it's very early doors. You can always recover from this. And the buy's there as well. Hyped finally has the AWP. Takes that towards ramp, trying to play on the cheeky angle as well. Oh, Hobbit with a spam. All right, you said his name and he's back in the game.
There we go. Always the case. The cast, the curse comes to fruition. Now Onus on Hyped to try and level the playing field. Big Green at range. Definitely got some sort of advantage, but for Big and for him individually, I think they're just going to play a little bit more of a passive approach. Give up some control over towards C9. See what they can do. Hyped flashed off the angle, still holding in the open as well. Going 1 for 1, even that seems like a good trade. How he's positioned. Crimbo deleted, hopping up close. This guy starts to come alive. The hype for 1, looking for a second. Will be treaded out by Nafany. And now there's space for Cloud9 over towards his top side.
Faven, if he wants to put big on the 5, he's got to really come alive in the round. Tucks into the off angle, attempting to play anti-flash. Quito, he's already been spotted, and Nafany clears it. Shiro with the last shot as Cloud9 put themselves on the board.
It's a really clean round, really well played. And this is what we saw in... Even though that match against Ends was a little bit rough at times, one of the great things that they were doing was just how in which they took that ramp control. That's another prime example. Great entries coming through, great control as well. And already, big, for the first time, this map just being shunted a little bit. A little bit of a statement as well that, yes, Cloud9 started a little bit slow, still here to play. And of course, in doing so, look at the money over towards big. The effect that it's had coming through in towards their buy, an M4, a FAMAS, an MP9. And a few pistols. It's going to be slightly rough to say the least. But at the very least, though, they've got a bit of util to work with.
Cloud9 with a bank robbery. So the funds for big at an all-time low. Investment into whatever they could put together. A FAMAS MP9 and M4. And that FAMAS is in the hands of Tabson. 7 for 2 at the minute. He came into this lights out, swinging for success. Same can be mirrored on the Crimbo, 6 to 1. And that 5-7, you get in his face, he really does put the pace back in with a pistol.
It's good to see Tabson playing well. I remember casting the first 2-3 games of when Hyped got brought in towards this roster, and the big thing is that individually, mechanically, he's unbelievable. Can play at a tier 1 level. He obviously just wasn't part of the system at that point. He'd been upgraded from the academy, being, you know, given that advancement for him, and he hadn't yet fit in towards the system. And because he wasn't kind of doing what the standard roles of an AWP, you know, taking fights, but also essentially a support utility player, Tabson was essentially covering his tracks and allowing him to free roam where Tabson kind of plug the holes. It's good to see now Hyped in a system and then Tabson able to once again get back in towards the fragging department, because when he was covering the tracks of Hyped, he himself just couldn't frag.
A lot of talk on Tabson, but right now he's got to stay alive and make himself famous with the FAMAS. Needs to frag them down, but they're pushing on up. Buster takes him out of commission. Looking for the quick boost into the elevated spot as well. That's Fathom with a FAMAS. He hits the frag onto Axar. Trade back as Buster is becoming an animal in the round. He's already got 2, and he's playing for the post plant now. But the FAMAS actually really ripping its way through them. This is a 3-on-2. Shiro on the peak. He hits the man in the back. That takes down Quito. Tag onto the second as well. The spray from Buster's good for the finale, and that is a 4-round spectacular from him.
Yeah, great from Buster. Really nice in the post plant as well. Just not showing too much skin, making sure that the fights he's taking are safe. There's a nice double swing as well off the back of the AWP. Sure, that shot towards Quito is huge. Just to deny big from sticking on that bomb. Oh, it does get close. Gets mighty close and deep for Buster. Lines him up. That's all she wrote. Cloud9 up to their second. A little bit of a tilter for big, but I think once again, you've got to look at it and consider they've walked over a couple of kills, and the buy that they had wasn't too favorable. 1 rifle in the M4, 1 FAMAS, which got dropped immediately, but in towards this round, Faven will answer right back. Hobbit deleted by the hand cannon.
Big play from the 50 cal there in the hands of Faven. It looked like he was dead in the water at middle. But he muddles up the round a little bit, makes it harder for Cloud9. Axar's on 38 HP, at least was given the AWP as they traded weapons. And they're poising themselves outside of B. There's just a USP on the site here. That's Quito that would have to do something absolutely audacious to really buy time for the rotation.
A USPS for Quito, Tabson, and Hyped. To make this round stick, it's going to require a miracle. And unfortunately, it's only 1 man alive over here. Quito beckoning over rotations, but I think it might be too little too late. Molotov will airburst, so at least he can stay alive over towards default. The rotation being beckoned over, he's trying to keep them at bay. Time is starting to tick as well. 40 seconds to work with, but deleted by Buster. And already Cloud9 are starting to close in on this site, crack it open and keep it in there. Favor, Buster finds more. It's just the pistols, but he's making it look easy. And it's all down to 1 man. Tabson needs a miracle. And the masterclass can't quite come to fruition on IGL versus IGL. Nafany to find the kill. And Cloud9 within 1, within reaching distance.
And those are back-to-back blockbuster rounds from Buster. playing it to perfection there in the post plant in the prior round. This one hitting those aggressive shots as well and creating space to deny any sort of shenanigans from the pistol. So like you said, 1 round of difference between them. Cloud9, ooh, they love these hard ones. They love bringing it back. That's what they're all about. And here they're out in full force. Shiro has the AWP as well.
There's such a momentum-heavy side, right? Whether it's for them or against them, they're the encapsulation of live or die by the sword. And speaking of Nafany, exactly the same for him. On these entry stats, he's always been going for these pushes over towards top. Over towards Blast TV as well. The vote of, will we see C9 versus FaZe in an LCQ final? 57% saying yes, and I gotta say, I have to agree with them. However, C9 trying to speed up the process. A double for Axal. 1 for Hobbit 2. That leaves Favin and Keto in an audacious 2 versus 4 to keep the lead in their favor.
Keto and Favin reposition back towards B. And Cloud9 have tons of time and utility. They're actually backing off from this. They give up the early ramp control and they want to roam back towards the B site. Buster would be the first point of contact, but you've got a crossfire set up, an aggressive way to play this. If they don't clear the angles, they get drawn between the lines. It could all go wrong quite quickly. Buster with a crouch clear. Looked like he gave up the goose, but he still finds the frag, and Fabin is let loose for 2, but that's all he's good for.
It does get a little bit shaky there. Bomb does get dropped off Axal's back, but thankfully the quick trade coming through. Numbers game being played by Cloud9 is the perfect way to approach. You have no real information about how big a setting up, whether they're committed over towards A, be that through CT or maybe over towards Heaven, or whether they're rotated. They play the smart play. 3 players over towards any site they're going towards. They can just play trades. Simple, effective, and essentially just playing the stats. We love to see it from Cloud9. They tie this game up 4 rounds apiece, and you're looking over towards Big, and the buy is pretty damn janky. A scout and a few pistols. The scout will find a corker. Hyped, what a shot. Nafany to fall.
Testing the waters at middle again. Favin this time not able to get the success he wanted with the Deagle, but Tabson on the recovery mission picks up the AK that was dropped towards the bottom of ramp, scurries off to support the rest of the team. And Hyped on the scout. Still trying to stand his ground, puts himself up on a pedestal, looking to punish from this. Almost has the headshot on the crossover. Not quite giving him that peak just yet, and they're slipping on up, going slow into this one. He could be swung on quite quickly, and it is just a scout that would need to deny it.
He's tunnel vision. Now going to come off the angle, looking for one. Tag on towards Shiro. But it's Axal who trades him out. The numbers fall in favor of Cloud9. Damage has been dealt both ways. With firepower, with the util especially, this round looking super favorable over towards C9 to take a lead for the first time on their map pick.
Crimbo, the old king of Ancient. Has he still got that steam under himself? Can he really light this round up, playing on the close position? Doesn't like his chances with how late it's been, how Cloud9 have just cut sound, waited to try and trick them. And they begin to back off. He's got armor and AK as well, so at least just clutching onto this into the next round wouldn't be the worst save. Favin also sporting the armor.
Yeah, I think it's actually a good call, all things considered. For Crimbo, just having an AK to work with really will help out. Last time these 2 sides played was 12 days ago, and that was in Blast Premier Spring Showdown. And of course, they obviously played Vertigo, as it is the C9 Classic. It was a 16-11 in favor of C9. So hoping for big. They've had this time last night, this morning, to kind of have some preparation coming in towards the game. How are we going to make the difference? We've seen already sides topple C9 when it comes towards Vertigo. We know they are beatable. It's just one of the most difficult tasks right now in Tier 1 Counter-Strike. It's not actually looking all too favorable. This T side starting so well. And you already kind of make arguments in your head that I feel like if Big don't go in towards the half with at least a lead from their CT side, then I get extremely worried.
It could get scary. At least here though, man, it's the fact that we're seeing some close rounds from either side and the individuality is being displayed. Big using their first timeout as well. And this is where God B is going to get really stuck in, talking quite heavily here to Hyped and Crimbo. So animated, man. You can see the emotion. You can see how much this means to both of these teams. For Cloud9, it's one thing. It's the fact that they still need to fight tooth and nail, scrap through this lower bracket, even if they win here versus Big. And they know that FaZe Clan is waiting in the wings.
Yeah, exactly that. I think for Big, they know what it would mean to them to be part of the final ever CSGO major, especially being the premium German org, right? They are German Counter-Strike for the most part. They encapsulate it. I don't mean everything to see them make it towards the CSGO final ever major in Paris. But of course, same for C9. It would be a shame to miss both of these teams, but one has to fall flat. And there's a potential that we see neither, because it's still FaZe waiting in the wings. See who they'll be taking on. Spam coming through towards deep ramp. For now, Crimbo, with that saved AK, needs to make a sing in towards this sort of a round. As Napoli once again trying to take some of those opening jewels.
With 3 top teams remaining and only 1 spot to the major left to be secured, you have to play the best CS of your life, and that pressure really can get to you here. It's a 5-4 split on the rounds. Both teams with the funds to support the full buy. So Hyped, he's on the AWP again, this time better than the scout. And you really can be left in a position where you are punished if you try and aggress onto this man. He likes to play those aggressive angles, but always good for the fallback, doesn't overcommit. Slow round from Cloud9 once again.
I like this. It's a very methodical approach coming through from Cloud9 in the sense that they don't really have too much of a read in terms of what Big are going to do on their full buy. How are they going to play this? They get a little bit more aggressive. Hype to fall off the angle, probably the worst time as well. Nafany was setting up Yuto, which potentially could have cost him his life. Crimbo up close and personal, takes a lot of damage. Things are starting to get shaky, but posted up, he'll find the first. Nafany to fall, and despite the low HP, he's still confident in the peak.
The impact's worth even more because Crimbo gets away, so that's another factor on the board, an additional man on the server to contend with, even if he's low HP. And Keto battling towards the B side, but suddenly Cloud9 come alive as they find 2 of the frags. Axel's put himself up top as well, but his head's exposed, and Favon will cut it clean off, shaving his way back into the round. 3 on 3, 6 seconds on the clock. He's got to commit. If you can get him off the bomb, you'd win the round, but Shiro denies it with a tech.
Fine margins, to say the least. And Shiro also had a no-scope as well, just to deny that rotation coming through. So ballsy from the AWPer, but he makes it work. We saw yesterday just how emotional Cloud9 got. They know what this means to them. I want to see if there's no-scope. There it is, in towards mid. Oh, you got to feel for Hype. Shiro, a little bit fortunate, but hey, that is just Shiro things. C9 survive a scare. And of course, in doing so, once again, just shatter the economy. And bit by bit, the hopes of Big. They're getting further and further out of this game because the momentum is severely swinging in favor of C9. And this T side already starts as a blow out of proportion.
Base set up on middle. Attempt to draw them in with a scout contact and hope the Deagle can sing, but instead it's not amounting to anything because Hobbit finds the frag onto Favon. But you've already got 2 kills. Crimbo, he's gone big into the round, upgraded onto the AK as well. So we're looking at a 3 versus 4 with only a few seconds burnt off the clock.
And a big way you can play this as well for Big now. They know the scout of Hyde is at the very least in a position where he's going to walk away with a tag, right? And then MP9 can reclaim a little bit of space if they want to. Crimbo's actually even upgraded over towards the AK. It's a classic tag 'em and bag 'em strategy. Crimbo gets a couple of tags and the scout bags them, or vice versa, right? And in doing so, it does make that less than premium scoped weapon all the more scary. And you can see C9, they're tentative, they're nervous while peeking into it.
They don't want to give up any potential advantage. There, it's a trade of information as Crimbo is spotted and the bullet will tag him down by 5. Cloud9. Group up and Wolfpack play in towards the B site together. Work as a unit here, but you've got to clear this close angle. The Deagle in a prime position to punish. It could get so awkward. If they can't find this first kill, Keto could deny the push, but it's about Hyped. And the back of the site hits the shot onto Shiro. And pressure's really applied now. There's the tag. Scout connecting in unison. And it's all on Buster, who has been broken clean open by Tabson's Deeg.
It's a solid round. It really is a solid round coming through. And it all comes down once again to double from Crimbo. This youngster continues to step up and cause problems. They just don't know how to stop him. It's ridiculous. And of course, the big thing is as well is, can they keep this up? We need to see Big now find this sort of form and find that sort of confidence in terms of their peaks on towards their full buys. At times, their full buys are looking a little bit shaky, a little bit rough around the edges, and you can see Godbeak trying to rally the troops. So emotive, but he knows what this means to them. And the emotions have already been pretty raw. We saw that pretty rough interview after the Falcons big game, right, where Keto was just mentioning he knows what this means to Falcons, them to not make their home major. But that's what they've got to do if they themselves want to be there. And of course, if Big want to continue this run, they have to take down two monstrous opponents. C9, who currently, of course, stand at rank number 5 in the world, and FaZe Marseille just waiting for them in the wings, even higher. It's such a tough road, and I think for Big, regardless of the results, they'll kick themselves that they even got to the LCQ. But same can be said for C9 and FaZe.
It's mad, the pedigree that we have competing to try and recover from the slip-ups they had in the RMR. Hyped, looking through the smoke, has a sneaking suspicion about Nafany's position, and that will be the kill from tabseN on the smoke spams. Already the opening duel won out again by the big brain of tabseN. Hobbit looking to isolate this, trapped between a rock and a hard place as the smoke comes in. Fast adjustment, but no connection onto Crimbo.
And now, of course, in doing so, so what C9, what's the plan? They've doubled away from Ram. Shiro, bomb in hand, 38 points of HP in a 3 versus 5. This will require something masterful. But if Shiro and Axe are alive, it's always a possibility, just slightly improbable. And he falls off the angle as well. Shiro, if he'd held it on for half a second longer, it's a free kill for him. Shot from height as Buster will fall. Through the corpse, he finds a kill on towards Buster, and in doing so, it leaves C9 in probably what is an impossible round for them. 2 versus 5, and even saving's a big ask.
It doesn't get any easier. 30 seconds on the clock for the full save to clutch onto the AK and AWP to drag that into the next so you can get the comfortable full buy with the cash on Nafany and Hobbit being at an all-time low. But Big, playing their cards close to their chest, not going full John Rambo on this one. They won't hunt for the guns. They're content to let it pass on over. And this will be a 6-6 split with Big bringing back the comeback.
I think this is an experienced approach as well. It's a very level-headed call coming through from tabseN. We know we've got kind of money to work with. Keto, tabseN, Hyped, plenty of cash left in arrears, but going for that sort of hunt is always going to come at such a cost, right? Even if you go 1 for 1, later down the line, just having a little bit of extra cash in the pockets, it's always going to be so helpful. So I think it's a good call. But of course, they will know that there is going to be some sort of a fighting towards the next. C9 should have some money to work with to at least force buy around the saved AWP and AK. Just the question of how do they want to play this? Breather to come through before we head underway towards the next round. Of course, a buy to come in. As expected, AKs alongside what was saved. Over in the other stream too, 12-6 in favor of Vitality. That legend spot is looming forward as Monty, unfortunately, seems to be falling a little bit flat.
Yeah, it's back to what's been working. The early contact on ramp. But Big, the longer the game's gone on, the more hyped and tabseN really been able to deny a lot of this control and pick up the early opening frags. Shiro playing a very defensive angle back towards the box. If you push down ramp, he's ready for you, as Crimbo has conditioned them to believe that will be something they're working into a lot of these rounds.
Oh, Crimbo's going close as well. I like this call. It's often a common angle, but somehow remains overlooked. And if Hype can just draw the attention over towards him, then potentially something can come off this. Crimbo will be the first to fall. Hobbit, those entry stats continue to look good for him. And there's the opening kill. They've got space to work with. They're doubling back over towards mid. 3 players here, in fact, taking the first fight, and Tabs is lucky to be alive. Yuta will come through. Boss takes 1 point of damage, and now they split over towards A. They've locked out the IGL, and any who rotate through, Big, such a tough call. How do they play this now? Because they have no information.
It was a quick exchange of smoke, so they've actually been able to block off the elevator side as well, make it a bit uncomfortable for C9 into this round, but they slipped onto the bomb site. tabseN's rotated through the back line. Hits the first on the Nafany. The bomb now scurrying towards the site in the dying moments. The final 13 seconds. Scoped, assassin, and hyped. Punishes as he plays his card. tabseN locks down at middle as well. And your last attempt is that Hobbit plants the bomb. Instead goes for the bait. Hits the first and the second. No chance into the 1v1 and no time to get the bomb down either. So that will be Big's round.
Oh, it's rough, really is. And you look at it as well. Question marks over towards C9. I think they just overcomplicate. It was actually a really good start to the round. They take mid control. They're leaving one lurking over towards ramp that a Hobbit. And all Hobbit has to do is just stay alive, right? Just his presence alone is always going to kind of subconsciously drag attention back over towards that A site. But unfortunately, not to be. And you look towards Axel, he died off the tires. He's got nothing to work with. No money, no cash in the pockets. That's a full buy for C9 as they just scrape together a buy. Double Galil, 1 AK, 1 AWP, and Axel in towards a Tech 9. No armor. This is going to be a seriously rough round for them. Well, for C9, they go for the full reset. It's win or lose on the booze. They're just doing whatever they can to make this work.
Nafany. The entry pathing to try and bypass them, but they actually clean up on their kills. Shiro so low as well, but he still stands strong. Hits the shot with the scope onto Crimbo and puts us in a 3 versus 4. But the bouncer's waiting at the door, and that's hyped on the AWP. Axel just recovers the M4. And they're setting their focus back towards B now. Quito and Faven playing off each other's contact. 50 seconds for Cloud9. Utility-wise, they've got 2 smokes and a flashbang here.
This is a really nice setup from Big as well. The second Quito has contact, they can park up and a smoking towards front stairs. It's simple utility, but it's so effective. It's one that all players should be taking in towards their MM game. Swing off the back of the flush as well. That's brilliant. Simple Counter-Strike, quick trades going through, and Quito, all he has to do is stay alive. Make sure there's no peaks given over. He can take Util. It does not matter because time is starting to tick, and he knows that C9 couldn't get enough of it. 2 versus 3. And already, I think they might just be calling this miss flash coming through. Makes it all the more better. Big, the round surely won for them, unless Axel can pull off something magical. He's gone up close to Purtle. Spotted, dinked. Not quite dropped, though. Remained alive. And trying to cause a ruckus, but time so far ticked. Unfortunately, just not to be. Getting the bomb down seems like a big ask, but actually, they've just done it. It's a 1 versus 2, and it's the youngster of Hype to try and deny. I thought the round was done, but Cloud9, other ideas as Hype needs something monstrous. The new boy in Berlin, but he can't quite do it. Axel has made something work out of nothing, and somehow, some way, C9 have won that round.
It's a ridiculous round. The way they played it is so smart, even down to the millisecond there for the rotate back, trying to draw a quick rotation towards A with a pop play, thinking you've got 30 seconds left. They must have bailed out a B, tried to go for the fast aggression up ramp. Instead, it was just a flash. That delays the rotation from Hyped. Axel with a double entry and a final second plant that carries them over the line to get that one. A massive momentum swing round there for Cloud9, and they'll play with confidence off the back of it. Crimbo sliced down to just 19 HP from the first tag. Nades dashed in towards B as well, and Quito good for 1, but there's a trade as Axel carries on.
A lot of damage being dealt. Over towards Crimbo, going to make his impact in towards this round. Up in question. So difficult. Well, we know how aggressive and in your face Cloud9 have been playing. What's the call here for C9? There's a grouping happening over towards B, but Faven, he might get overlooked, and he will do. A freebie of a kill for him, and he'll fall away.
Faven backs off. Drops the smoke as well, but they're already ahead of it. He hides behind the AC, calling for the rotation to back him up here at B. Buster in middle, makes a move, takes down Tabson, and it's really getting rough now. It's all down to 2 players, Hyped and Crimbo, that are forced to try and mount this retake. 1 kit, a single flashbang and a smoke. They trade their weapons. Crimbo on the low HP. He's been bogged down, but can he hit the shot? Looking for any sort of opener here. Shiro's waiting for this push to come in. They use the util to try and draw the angle off. A miss shot, but Nafany's good for the trade, and that's a double as he slays a tight half. 8-7. 8-7 half there into the second map. Cloud9, if they can go on to win this, they will lock down their victory against Big and move on to the battle of 2 of the biggest orgs in Counter-Strike, C9 and FaZe, in a head-to-head best of 3 to decide which one, because only one of them can secure the spot at not only the last major, but the major in France, in Paris, live on stage to show what you are made of and solidify your legacy in Counter-Strike Global Offensive with a big tick at the end of your name to turn up to the most competitive major we have had in quite some time.
Yeah, and of course, for those who may have missed it over on the other stream. Vitality have just taken it down Monty to lock themselves in towards a Legends space. Both of those two sides will be present at the major. Vitality locked in for damn sure they'll be in that stadium, which is awesome to see. French players in a Parisian stadium, you love to see.
Dream scenario for Vitality, but still some huge orgs duking it out here as Big Clan have to stand strong if they want to get the pistol, but it's looking good for C9. 3 frags found, Hypes and Favon coming back into the round, but look at the flank. Shiro, he's sneaking up, slithering like a boa constrictor, ready to strike, and they're playing close on this one. Favon right in the smoke, it's going to dissipate, he'll be spotted, tags traded, but no kill connected. Hype in the 1v2, and there's Shiro finally revealing himself for the pistol.
Another great pistol coming through, and you can really see for C9, they're approaching towards these rounds, their ability just to give themselves a preferential fight. So well done, busted a nice couple of shots, but all things considered, Big spaced out a little bit too much. They couldn't play trade off the back of each other, and they couldn't play contact, and they just allowed C9 to isolate. And in doing so, they are starting to put up a decent little repertoire now early doors, 9-7. And have plenty of money to work with, where they'll know for a damn fact that Big will not have a lot to bring to the table. C9 should lock in double digits and a 3-round breathing room to kickstart this half. And in doing so, then we look towards Big. We look towards Tabson, God B. How do these guys, from the claws of defeat, drag this game back in their favor?
Interesting here as well, because this kind of reminds me of more of an existence round. We used to call these rounds where when you had Glocks, you had no buy, you can kind of use it as a live timeout to talk it out. You wait in spawn, right? Everyone gets to put their input in. You can reset the mental a little bit. And that's what we're seeing here. So time to talk for Big. Then they'll aggress out on middle. And Buster, oh, he should have a field day here. Finds the first frag, spams his way onto them, backed up by the HE from Hobbit, and it's just Fabon that gets away with a Glock kill.
Very common strat towards tier 2 as well. A lot of the teams online call this. It's, you know, attack pause without really calling attack pause. I think it's smart, you know. They're like gold here, really. You only get 4, and especially when times start to get really tough and you need to call a few, maybe even back to back. Just having the ability to kind of burn a minute 40, right? Having a conversation, allowing the likes of Tabson to kind of rally the troops a bit, it's good. And then Goldbeak can come in off the back of Tabson speaking. And here he is, very emotive, right? But this is what the RMR and especially the LCQ does to you. It brings out, you've got nothing left. You have to find that second win. But unfortunately right now, it does look like Big are running on fumes a little bit. They're struggling to kind of really get in towards this game and get, you know, a stranglehold of it. And that's credit to C9. Their ability to really put their opponent in a chokehold makes them so difficult to play against on Vertigo.
Contending with the emotions. The amount of pressure that's on everyone in the server right now to perform, to give the best case of yourself, because this is one that's going to be looked back on in the history books of Global Offensive. When you're looking at which teams made it to the final major, games like this decide that. They affect everything. It's for all the glory. And we're back into the 18th. Cloud9 leading with 10 rounds. Hobbit getting heavy-handed, goes running in through the ladder room, finds the first pick onto Favon, and already starts to make this awkward. Looking for the trade back, it's Crimbo. He's been crisp. He's been good in the game. But can he hold on to this? Trapped between a rock and a hard place. Looking back on ladder now. Hobbit will clear it, but it's not good enough. Crimbo trades and puts them back in the 4-on-4.
It's already enough from Hobbit as well. 1 kill, damage on towards the second, and just relaying info and allowing individuals like Shiro to step up to the plate. Nice shot from him, looking for more as well, and of course he finds it hyped. Had no idea what hit him. And a 2 versus 4, now things go quiet. Big, they are shell-shocked. Do not know what to do, and Crimbo taking already damage previously from Hobbit. So individually, he has no idea how to play this. Keto has to pull up something masterful, because he's all alone now in a 1 versus 4.
Keto, he's had some magnificent rounds throughout the RMR, but he's being watched here. Shiro knew where he was coming from, had his eyes laser focused on the elevator peak, hits the shot. And Cloud9 looking like they're starting to enjoy themselves a lot more now with an 11th round in the bag.
It's just starting to look like very comfortable, clean Counter-Strike. And this also goes back to what we were saying very early in towards this game. If Big don't guarantee a lead at the turn of the half, I already start to get very worried. Alarm bells start to ring out for me because we just know how solid C9 can be on that CT side. You got players like Nafany who life and limb just throw themselves down ramp to deny all of that control and get a lot of space. But individuals like Shiro and Axel can just be such a menace. Axel as well yesterday. One of the strongest B anchors you could possibly have. You're going to put anybody to lock out that site. Having Axel posted up there just means that anybody trying to fight over towards B, you're going to lose minimum 2 to take him down. That's what makes him so scary. And Big know this. And you can already see kind of in their mind, they know if they go towards Big, Axel's going to be posted up somewhere. And just going to be such a menace. And of course with this low buy, it's sort of looking like they're going for that B split.
Info gathered for Buster, jiggling on the angle towards mid, just looking for the read into the round.
Crimbo is just at least drawing some attention, right? I don't know whether potentially C9 have some sort of an understanding. A rotation going back for Shiro over towards A, but he hears the util, he'll double back in time, smoking towards front stairs. Time starts to tick a little bit, but they pulled the plug and they're going for it. Axel for the first. Keto drop, but a quick trade coming through from FaZe. Buster at least finds one of his own, but the bomb will go down.
Created enough room to get the bomb planted, but they were nearly taken down by the AWP shot there. Tagging on too high. They're all quite low and they're trying to scrap into this one. Hobbit clearing the angles with the support of Shiro on the AWP, and it's all down to Crimbo. He's had some insane rounds, but surely this one is too much to ask for. Punishes on the P250. They're trying to bait him out with a tap onto the bomb, but he's just going to wait for them to come to him. Hits the head of Hobbit, but it's not enough for Shiro. Stops it, jumps on for the defuse, and keeps Cloud9 moving.
Unbelievably talented. So solid Crimbo, but unfortunately that was asking just a little bit too much. Repeat 50 does net himself 2 kills. But it's just not quite enough. Bomb defused and Cloud9 getting closer and closer to the all-elusive 60. And that finish line starting to look so brightly upon them. We're only 4 rounds away. For Big though, big thing for them, of course, is building up a little bit of that economy over towards the T side. We need to see them back into full buys and consistent full buys. And unfortunately, Keto, it's not been his day out of the office. 4 kills, 16 deaths, 41 ADR. He's struggling to find that impact. And it's showing height. Nice shot though. Nafany gets caught. They're looking for more, but Shiro will trade, and that's what Shiro can do. Levels the playing field in a matter of moments.
Hobbit playing close on the smoke. He's seen the feet and flicks up to the face as Tabson's now dead. And they reaggress. They put all of their focus on the B-bomb site. Axel's here with the M4. He's getting this read as the flashbang comes over. He calls for the assist from Buster on the elevated peak. Axel doesn't even need the backup. He is the main man. Lifeline of Cloud9 as he finds the frags on the M4. And again, Crimbo in an uncomfortable position. Has the Molotov. Throws it out, trying to cross, but Shiro's laser focused on it. And it will be another round for Cloud9. On fire now as they're racking them up.
This is starting to look a little bit monstrous. Coming through, Cloud9 are unstoppable. Big cannot compete. Last time these two sides played, I think it was 12 days ago. Only 11 rounds, and you can see for Godby, desperation on his face and in his emotions. Nothing is going their way. Everything they're trying to make work is not coming to fruition. I can that double as well. The flick on towards Keto, up close and personal with Jen. That's just cool, calm, and collected under pressure. So over towards Big, the buy. 1 deagle for one AK for Crimbo SA, and a few deagles to work with. All things considered, it's not exactly a comfortable buy. A half buy is the call. So they have money left in arrears. They will have money to work with next. We've got to make something stick here, and Crimbo pushing through a smoke. Ill-advised as he gets caught. Nafany adding 1, but Tabson and FaZe, one of their own. So the numbers brought level, but damage dealt low.
Talking of low, it's rock bottom for FaZe. He's on a single HP, just 1 hit point being the difference between him being alive and even having presence on the server into the 21st round. 3 kits in play, all the bells and whistles when it comes to the utility belts as well for Cloud9, and they're not going to force the issue. They don't want to play into the hand of Big. They went for the boost, hoping someone ego challenges, they can find a frag and put themselves into a better spot. Instead here, they're forced into the play. They have to go for the plant. The nade goes over, takes down height. That's already 1 man man gone. Haven in the back line, playing on an off angle. He's on 1 HP, and he needs to play this perfectly. It's going to be so awkward for him. They're starting to clear out now, but they haven't seen him. They don't know where he is, and he waits. He lurks. He strikes with it first, but Shiro trades again. He is the bookend for Cloud9 for the 14th.
1 kill for FaZe, traded and 51 floors down, he falls. Just to think about how that one slipped away. And you can see their faces over towards Big. So long, they just know that this is slipping away from them. Their chances are being present in Paris. Bit by bit, round by round, starting to fall away. Another great round coming through from Cloud9. And you've got to say over towards Big, it's a good attempt, right? Considering they had 1 AK and a few pistols. A bomb plant on a good few kills is great to see. But it's still, and essentially, as we mentioned, basically a best of 1 for survival. Not looking too favorable. Full buy coming out. Potentially the final full buy we'll see out of Big. No bomb plants in. If they all fall, the money is going to be in a janky state in towards the 23rd and potentially final round of this game.
Split and pick style set up early on. They go for the boost. They want to put FaZe on top. Axar, he's lying in wait at the back. He also has the AK. Keto now, taking the space, pushes up, reveals himself. Awkward encounter between the two of them, but Axar eventually hits the shot. The head removed, and the aggression forced now. He's got to push up a little bit more. FaZe, he thought the Molotov would spread, instead holds onto the smoke for another day. tabseN also creating space towards A, and the bomb starts to rotate.
Keto really struggling now to have impact, and this is going to affect the mental. They know this. Big nade coming through. FaZe will take a tag, and it makes his M4s all the more prevalent. 1 bullet headshots, a possibility now. And time starting to tick, the clock becoming the worst enemy over towards Big. Quick swing, Nafani, may I say, on the corner, will fall. So numbers brought level, but an aid will come through and will do some chip damage, but it's all coming down to the fine margins and the fine wire.
Big, walking the tightrope in the final 20 seconds. Don't look down, because it will really leave you in a world of hurt. tabseN trying to get away, left on 13 HP as Hobbit hopes to slay. You got the backup as well from Shiro. If you move out, we know how crisp, how clean he's been, and he's hunting for these kills. Fires off the warning shot here. Time ticking away as well. Bomb about halfway ticked. Axar peeks in, gives up the first. Crimbo continues the pain as he hits another one. Shiro finally gets stuck into the action, but Crimbo is looking to close it. Spams down, removes both from the round and keeps them in it. Starves off match point for Cloud9.
Wow. They've still got some fight about them for the first time in 10 rounds played. Big will final round in their favor. It's been a long time coming. This side have been struggling for rounds on the board, but Crimbo, tooth and nail, keeping this side competitive. The Clutch King steps up again, but there's so much more to be done. Big still remain 6 rounds behind. Out of C9, they're only 2 rounds away from seeing themselves into a rematch of the Pro League Finals against FaZe later on today. We need to see them dig deep. We need to see another gear out of Big, because right now we have yet to see anything to say otherwise. That's the first round they found on T-side too.
Hobbit taking a ton of damage, but this could be the dealer of death. Shiro behind the sandbags. The Sleep King wants to send them off and tuck them into bed. The nades are doing tons of damage, and Nafani on the read pushes up, spams to the top of the smoke, finds the head hitbox of Crimbo, and all it is mere tags to force them back. Shiro removed from his position, but he's still confident as he hits that one. Nafani with a follow-up onto Keto, and it's all down to FaZe. Traps at middle with a minute on the clock. A 1v5 with Cloud9 looking forward to their match point, series point, and potentially the last chance qualifier final game versus FaZe if they can find one more in this matchup.
This has been a redemption arc for Cloud9, even dropping in towards the LCQ itself. That was a shock. And this side, they have dug deep. They have really continued what is a run of form to potentially cause and continue to cause an upset through this LCQ. And for them, I mean, this means so much, especially considering how emotional we saw they were yesterday. To now see smiles upon their faces as they know they're getting closer and closer to that finish line. into a rematch against FaZe. That itself is a different beast and a different topic entirely. But this could be it. Nafli will find the first. Crimbo extends through the smoke. He's looking for more and he deals some damage. But Tabson will trade out Shiro, so there's still a chance for Big.
Minute and 24 on the clock. It could all be decided here if they can hit their shots. Quito, full aggro, planting the bomb now as well and drawing in the rotation. Nice double HE, Cloud9 blowing them off of the bomb site. And Tabson gets a read, but he can't find the frag. He's got to back off and play a better angle. This is C9 looking for this retake now then. They've got the utility for it. Flashbang in the back of Buster. He can throw that one over. Smoke on the bomb as well, so they can try and defuse on it. It blocks off the line of sight for Hype. Tabson, he's really got to be the clothesline. He needs to have a huge play. A missed shot from Hype. It's all going wrong. They jump on the bomb here now to try and draw the face time. It's going to be ridiculously close. They don't know about Tabson. He taps onto the first, finds the follow-up, shuts down Buster. He has denied it and stopped Cloud9 from winning it right here, right now. They did not clear him.
Oh my God, Tabson, experience paying off in dividends. He keeps Big alive, and they're not done just yet. There's still fight left in the old dog right now. Oh my God, though, the finest of margins, and the choice as well not to go for the bomb planter or the bomb diffuser first. 1.64 seconds for Cloud9. Oh, Jesus, that got very close. They're still so close themselves to that finish line. And we're yet to see Big put consistent rounds on the T side. But this could be their best chance. It's a double FAMAS buy coming through for C9. Into the hands of Buster and Nafany. And no AWP for Shiro to work with, just the M4 in his hands. But even that itself can be scary. Taps a nice opener. Nafany caught in no man's land. Had no idea what hit him. Before you know it, Taps makes it a double. He continues to destroy. Cloud9 are starting to crumble a little bit.
Cloud9 were thinking they were going to be facing FaZe in a few seconds, but instead Tabson, he really brings them back into the game, and here the confidence is in the big camp. Berlin International Gaming running their way in towards the B site. Hobbit is the only one left for C9. With a minute on the clock, he would have to do something unstoppable, and he just wants to hold on to what he's got here, really. This game keeps on going. Big would be 5 rounds away from dragging us into an OT, but it's got to be flawless.
Continues to deliver. Hobbit on the way out. We'll find Quito. Can't double it down. So it's nothing safe for C9, and it's a sigh of relief. Over towards the German squad. Big now up to double digits. And of course, they have a little bit of breathing room as well, because they know money is pretty poor. Over towards C9. Groove, the coach, of course, of Cloud9, going to come in for a conversation. See what he can do just to alleviate some of this pressure and get them back to their winning ways. And well, most importantly, do not allow Big back in towards this game.
You've got to slam the door shut. You can't start to let them back in. Cloud9 have been dragged back to reality off of the realization that this game isn't won. This series is not over. But they are on match point. It's just about closing the game, and they can be the hardest rounds, especially with the pressure you're under here, competing for that spot at the last ever CSGO major.
Take a look at the scoreboard as well. Buster 25 kills, 95 ADR. Shiro on 20. Those two really be doing God's work to keep Cloud9 competitive, of course, into this buy. Being competitive is going to be tough. Axel will find a kill towards Quito. He just caught completely off guard. Knife in hand, it's a free kill for the USPS, and an M4A1S collected. It's been a poor game for Quito, and that round more or less encapsulates it.
You can't let it slip like this. Just the USP's opening it up, and it really could be the round where Cloud9 end it. Aggression towards Ramp. Hyped on the rifle, good for 2, but there's only 2 players left standing on Big and Hobbit. Oh, he's sneaking up. He's coming in on the flank. Favin's attention could be drawn off the angle. The timing on it is so ridiculously tight as well. He can move on in. He could try and make a big play. Crimbo looking back, turns away. The USP starts to sing, but it's just a tag. It will not be the frag. But the rifles of C9 are still alive and kicking on the back of the site.
It's an uncharacteristic panic from Hobbit there. He had the kill lined up, and he flops his lines. Into the 2 versus 2. Time is of the essence. Axel and Nafany both scooped up rifles. No armor, no utility for them to work with. And over towards that of Big, all the util, for the most part, lies on Favin's belt. And they've got 30 seconds to work with. The decision looks like they're going to double back over towards B, but they're still going to leave Favin here towards A. They're going to isolate the fight. It could be risky. It's down to the 1 versus 1. Axel versus Crimbo, and arguably the 2 most proficient riflers in the server, duking out to see whether Big stay alive or C9 lock themselves in to the finals against FaZe.
Quad kill from Axel if he wants to win this one. Crimbo, he's had so many clutch rounds in the game already. And it seems like Axel, with the halving he's taking, he's already giving up the goose, doesn't fancy his chances, knows that they've still got a few more opportunities with a buffer they have on match point to play this one out for the long game. Wraps back towards the B site for the exit at least. And that's what he can play for here. If Crimbo funnels into him, you take the gun out of his hands and then play into it in the next.
I like this call. It's the case of whether he will get it. Axel survives by margins. Crimbo fall. Big. AK scooped up as well. So, silver linings both ways. Big final round. Always good. C9, they don't, but they scoop up an AK-47. So, both sides will take a little bit of a sigh of relief, but Big, most importantly for them. That was a full pistol round for Cloud9, and it nearly fell flat, and it required essentially a 1 versus 1 clutch. And head in hands for Tabs, and he knows how close that one was to falling by the wayside. There's 3 rounds in a row, and 4 rounds out of the last 5 played going the way of Big. This is the momentum they need if they want to start cracking open the door to the potential of going the full 30 and playing for OT. But a full buy now faces them for Cloud9 in towards round number 27.
The hardest test yet on the 27th round. Axel, he's been so good at standing his ground, and with the utility here, he jasses out the HE and backs off to try and play for the long con. 2-player setup going in through ladder room as well, so they're going to contest for both B site and mid control. You need to bypass the defender that's there for C9. We haven't said his name for a little while, but he's still been finding so much impact. 25 frags on big old Buster. Axel forced out of position from the Molotov, but still alive. And Shiro, he's waiting for this. He's looking for the frag. Top peak from Tabson. Just a bit of damage as they do fall back. All 5 still alive. 44 seconds on the clock. Here's the play at B. Axel with 1. Favin, good for the trade. Map control taken. They stake to claim on the site as Favin frags his way through them. Tabson assisting. Hobbit and Nafany, the only 2 left.
I think they might just save as well. Nafany sticking around. See if he can make it more expensive. Tabson, though, will fall. But I think with that killing towards Hype, they might just confirm it. No, Nafany, he's going to go poking and prodding, looking to see what he can find. It's a 1 versus 2 against the youngsters. But you're against, essentially, the clutch criminal right now of Crimbo. And this guy, normally, statistically, does not lose these. But it's not one for the tally. Nafany might have made it work. There's been questions upon his name. But can he make this one stick? Tap on towards the bomb. And he has a kit to work with. But time is of the essence. And Hype spots no one. And surely, that's his demise. Big live to see another day. And this game is not done giving just yet.
These rounds are so tight. The smallest of differences in the choreography, a counter-strike could mean whether or not if you're still in the running to go to the major, to make it to Paris, or if your mistakes will plague your brain and plague your history book at the end, the global offensive. But it's looking good, Big. Looking a whole lot better in terms of the confidence, the way they're starting to play it. But you know, just 1 round is all that it takes. So it's got to be flawless. 15-12 here. The Deagle's brought out for Cloud9. They are powerhouses with the pistols, and they're playing the angles to support that. Hobbit just walking down with a CZ. Man could tuck himself into the back line. This could get really risky. He wants to play on the lip of the smoke, and he is looking for that opening contact. Jumps through, finds Tabson, cuts his way through him, just running in, windmilling. Oh, the follow-up as well. Hobbit with a bullet to the brain as Favin is slayed. Nafany on the P250. He's going to do the same old story. He's put on his Hobbit cosplay as he tucks in. They have no idea that he's in the rear.
No way, not like this. Of all the ways for Big to lose this game, this would be criminal. Crimbo at the very least, though, alleviating some of that pressure. It's back to a 3 versus 3. Once again, time is of the essence. Just shy of a minute on the clock to work with, and the bomb will go down. A slightly default plan coming through from Crimbo. And now how does C9 play? They push the smoke. Axel will find one. Numbers favor Cloud9, and this is starting to crumble. Up close, Crimbo for one, looking for yet another. And over to a Tetra gets deleted. Shiro doing Shiro things, and it leaves Keto all alone. This man has struggled in towards Vertigo. And a 1 versus 2 to see it out, and just like that, it will confirm it. Ladies and gentlemen, Cloud9 eye up FaZe for a spot in Paris, and it's all down to one more best of 3. It's a replay of ESL Pro League Finals.
We're running back the Pro League Finals with Cloud9 standing strong on Vertigo. They make the lower bracket run. They survive every test in the gauntlet so far, but their hardest is yet to come. Will they be able to upset FaZe? Can they force Cloud9's name into the legacy of CS in global?